Maybe you're already in sales, or maybe you're looking to get into sales and you just don't know how. So let me first define sales. Sales is the exchange of a commodity or a service for money. Everybody needs to know how to sell. Selling is the cornerstone of what gets things done. So maybe you've never even been in sales before, maybe you never had the official title, but whether you know it or not, you've been selling since you are in diapers. Let me give you an example. When you were a baby and you were crying for your parents to give you a bottle, you're selling them on the fact that your bottle is more important than anything else in the world right now. And if they want peace, they better give you that bottle. So your payment to them was actually peace in the house for them to give you that bottle. You have been selling your whole entire life. I'd say that every person actually goes through at least a dozen sales experiences throughout a day. You're in the car with your wife or your husband, you want to go for Italian, they want to go for sushi. Whoever is more sold on their preference, that person will ultimately win. And if you get good at sales, you're going to be able to increase your revenue. You're going to be able to get job security. You're going to be able to finally start reaching the potential that you know that you're worth. So whether you're a salesperson or not, it doesn't matter. By the way, even if you're not a salesperson, you still had to make a sale to get yourself the job that you have, right? To get yourself hired is essentially a sales experience. What are you selling? You're selling yourself. There's a lot of different types of sales. So you could be selling a product, like watches. You could be selling an intangible thing, which is your time, just like a lawyer. So when you know how to sell, you're able to bring in ultimately an unlimited amount of revenue, and it's really just what is the product that you're going to sell? Because when you know how to sell, you're able to take your destiny into your own hands. Sales is usually the highest paid person in a company, and let me explain to you why. You want to be as close as you possibly can be to revenue. Let me give you an example of somebody who's not close to revenue. The janitor of a company has nothing to do with what that company does. Often, the janitor comes in even after hours when the business is closed. But a salesperson is intimately involved with the revenue. The higher you are on the food chain with the revenue, the more your salary will ultimately be. So, an accountant, for example, he's close to the revenue, right? He's close to the revenue stream, intimately involved with what's going on in the finances of the company, so their salaries tend to be higher. But most often than not, salespeople, their revenue is the highest in the company. Why? Because they are the closest to the revenue. And when you're close to the revenue, you get a little slice of that revenue, right? So you could either be selling for a company or you could be selling on your own. A lot of people want to start a business today, but the problem is they have no idea how to sell. I say this all the time. You could have a cure for cancer in a pill form that costs $1, but if you don't know how to sell that, if you don't know how to get it into hospitals, into medical companies, if you don't know how to push your product into the market and sign a contract, you're not going to make anything, even if you have the best product in the world. So before you start a company, you have to learn this thing called sales. You have to learn how to convince a person to trade money for your product or service. And once you do that, you're going to gain an incredible amount of security in your life. Talk about job security. We just went through a pandemic here with COVID. Everybody that was not close to the revenue stream got cut, got fired, got laid off. Why? Because they're not close to the revenue stream. I could almost guarantee that the great salespeople in every industry, in every company, were the last people to get cut. It was never even thought on the owner's mind because they need those people that are close to that revenue. In this masterclass, we're going to learn the mechanics of a sale. We're going to learn how to implement this thing that we call sales. And by the way, sales is not a dirty word. You know, when people say, what do you do for a living? I'm a salesman or I'm a saleswoman. It's not a dirty word. It's a beautiful thing. A salesperson is able to get products into the market at a price that is able to sustain the company and ultimately sustain the economy. And we're going to learn just exactly how you can become a master salesperson.